Hi, everybody. Welcome to It's in the Cards. Hope you had a fabulous week. And it's cooled off a bit here, so hope everybody, the weather is pretty good where you're at. Cloudy, rain for the rest of the week expected, but the heat went away, so that's a good thing. I have a wonderful guest for you this evening. And we're going to be talking all about the tarot tonight with her. I want to give you a little introduction to you so you know a little bit about her before I bring her on. She taught dance for many years in North Carolina. She was a choreographer and a dance studio owner. And I guess that explains why when she describes readings and the cards, she has her own unique explanation for them, and she calls the cards dancing, which I love. And she's been doing tarot for the past 21 years, and she also reads for people's pets, so we're going to talk about that as well and what she does with that. Her name is Jennifer. She is known on Facebook as Jennifer Tarot Johnson. I want to bring Jennifer on. Jen, welcome.
Well, hey, Misha, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine down here in South Carolina on the swamps of Sockasty.
How's the weather?
It's very humidity, as you can tell by my hair.
And I love the little decor that you have going there.
Yeah, I gotta have a do-rag down here in the South.
Protects the hair that way too from going all over the place, right? Suits lots of purposes. So you started dancing for years. When did you get interested into the tarot?
Well, I actually was a magician assistant, and yes, and we did mental telepathy, and that's where I came in contact with the tarot. And I stopped dancing and the magic. The magician disappeared, and so I fell in love with the tarot cards. As I say, I had a Tower moment, and my life changed from being a dancer and dance teacher. And I took up the cards. I put away my dance shoes, picked up the cards, and I've been dancing with the tarot ever since.
Well, that's an extreme from one thing to another. You never miss the dancing where you wish you would have kept a dance studio and done, both readings and the dance?
I did miss it, but I found my true calling with the cards, and it's enriched my life even more than the dance did. And I do say, think about it. There's a song, Life's a Dance, and life is a dance, isn't it? And I find as I get older and I grow, we change partners. The music changes. We may be dancing the disco, then we're going into a waltz, then it's a two-step, a foxtrot. We've got to keep moving, we've got to keep dancing, we've got to keep growing. And the cards sort of came and literally saved my life. I went through domestic violence with the magician, and the cards picked me up and saved me, and they save me every day.
They do, and you never know what they're going to bring to light.
That's right, and I find all the people that I work with, and I'm sure you do too, Misha, and I read your post, and I love your, what I love about you is you keep it real. You
I
know, you're a real person, and I like that. And we've talked before, but it just your posts make me laugh and smile, and you bring a reality to it. And you know, life is real. And hey, we're all going to have our ups and downs. It's like new couples and people. I wish I could tell everybody, hey, you've got the white picket fence. It's all going to be great. It's a fairy tale. But that's not the way it is. And what we have to do is find a strength to carry on, to evolve. If we don't evolve, we'll evaporate. Usher said that.
Yes, yes. And, it's strange what you pointed out about, Facebook posts and the jokes and things and keeping it real. People are either for that or completely against it. I'm sure you've noticed the same thing. And, I've been told by, more than one people over the years, you need to just keep it tarot related and love and butterflies and rainbow. Why? That's not reality. That's not how life is, and people need to sit. So many people, clients or non-clients, think because we do what we do that we got it easy. We have no problems because we can just psychically look into it or pull the cards and get it all figured out. And they think, it's a breeze. And somehow we're on a higher scale than they are in regards, to life and issues. And we're not. A lot of cases we end up going through a lot more heavy duty things because I think we need to experience it so that when we get the clients, we understand where they're coming from and their feelings and mean it.
I agree with you 110%. And I tell them, hey, I've been there. I know what you're feeling or similar things. Divorce, domestic violence, struggling financially, depression. But the cards, I try, as you know, on my page, I joke and I say it's my diary. And a friend of mine's like, Jennifer, I'm like, remember the old fashioned diaries that had a key? And she said, well, you would lose the key. Well, I wear keys most every day because, they've said the tarot are the 78 keys of wisdom, the keys of knowledge. And aren't we all trying to open doors and shut doors and lock doors and throw away the key? It's knowing when to hold them, know when to fold them. Know when to walk away, know when to run, know which doors to lock, and know which doors we need to kick down. So I feel like with my querents that we're all in this together and we're all dealing with issues, our demons, I've heard it said on Facebook, find demons that play well with yours, and we're all struggling. We've all got bruises. We've all got, and I'm like you. I love that you put it out there and you're a real person. And I think it's important for people to know when they come to a reader, the old way was, the reader knew all, saw all, and told you what's going to happen. And I want people to understand, hey, we can make things happen. We can bring things into our lives. And, you and I have no more power than they do. We can help guide them, but we want to help them have the power.
Right. Yeah, because it's all, so many even come wanting us to determine, well, should I leave? Should
Exactly.
I quit my job? Should I? They want us giving them yes or no. And that's not what a reader should be doing.
No.
It's no reader's place or job to do that.
But in the old times, people, and still people today, and I know because from some of your postings and people you visited and things, some people they are more comfortable with, well, this lady told me I'm going to date a guy whose initial begins with R. I'm going to get divorced. I'm going to have 2 children. And I'm like, well, you know what? I can't tell you that. But why, you know, while you're waiting for that money to come in or you're waiting for this person, why not go out, create your life, bring things to you? And I think, we are making progress in getting people to realize we're trying to help them turn up the volume of their inner voice
Yeah.
and realize they can bring things into their lives and that they have the power.
Do you find that with technology, the internet, such easier access than years ago to get readings, get a hold of readers, get a hold of mediums, psychic, whatever, that is harmed in a way or improved because they have easier access to be a psychic junkie, psychic hawk, go from one to the other, trying to see who they might be able to get some info out of them for free without paying for it, put the pieces together. And, somebody that's doing all that, you can't even connect properly to their energy because it's all over the place and they're constantly pairing one reader to another.
Yes, and I have people that will come to me and then they'll say, and I do a few phone readings, for people and email, but they'll say, well, last night, or I talked to this psychic, or I did this on there. I think people are wanting someone there, even though we have all this technology, and I will say myself, I understand the loneliness and Facebook, I reach out to people and I share my emotions and feelings, but they are desperate for someone to connect with. And also, I think people want someone to just magically tell them, it's okay. He's not cheating. She loves you. It's all good. It's all going to be okay. It's like they wish they could have that genie in a bottle, that it would just be something we can magically present. They do feel we have a power. That's why I take what I do, and I know you do, really seriously, because I stress to people, you have gifts. You have as much power as I do over your life. I'm here to help you understand what the cards are saying to you, but you can take that, and make things happen.
Right. Right.
But they're used to the old way of the fortune teller telling them, here's what your fate is. This is what will be. And it's getting people to realize we have the power. We can make things happen, make good things manifest. We have to clear, like with the swords, we have to cut out the cobwebs and we have to get the junk out of the trunk and the trash out of the trailer.
Yep. Now, let's go into your readings.
Okay.
Are you read for pets?
Yes. Meow.
Now, do you use the cards for that? Or do you actually communicate with the person's pets? Or are you treating the pet as if it were, me or another client?
Right.
See what comes up. How do you do that?
Well, great question. And I have dogs around me. They're not showing up on Skype, but I have even my neighbor's dog who's taken a liking to me. Basically, over the years, I started out many years ago reading for Save Our Cats charity, and they would have their cat wing and their cat ball, and I would read for the people and the cats. And I was fortunate enough to go to New Orleans through their charity. And then the Canine Angels, which are service dogs for our veterans, and I'm their official psychic. But what I do use the dog tarot cards, and they're in my other room. But I also hold the pet, look at the pet's eyes, touch their paws, you know. And I believe, like looking at you, eyes are the window to the soul. And I believe that in human and canine and feline, you know, it's the eyes say so much, and you can tell a lot about a pet by the way they look, the way they are with their person, and just feel things with the animal. So I do use the dog tarot cards, and I have the tarot for cats, and I'll use those, and sometimes I use a regular tarot deck. But my main way of reading with an animal is holding that animal and being around the animal, you know, and I pick up things about the animal.
So do you pick things up like behaviors that the owners can't train the dog to get out of? Maybe not going to the bathroom outside, or
Well,
why they're constantly, you know, grabbing stuff off table, whatever it might be, or behaviors, or what?
well, lots of times it will be where I can tell the dog was from a shelter, the dog was rescued, and the dog and the owner are like the owner needed the dog. In other words, say someone who's been through a divorce, they're alone, and the dog was like, you know, filled a void in their life. Or when the dog may need more freedom. The dog may want a puppy. The dog wants a new toy, or the dog needs to be encouraged to be more social. Things like that come up. Or when what the dog, I usually go with what the animal needs, what they want, what they bring to their person, and what the person can do to help the dog adjust to certain situations. So it's really fascinating.
That is interesting. I did a reading for somebody's pet once. They asked if I could. I'm like, yeah, I guess so. I don't know why not. And it was 2 new puppies that they had brought into the house. And she was having a problem with both of them, and she had wanted to know what I would be able to get. So I just had her, because I had never done it before, I said, you know, pick a card for dog A, have a specific one head, pick one for dog B, and told her what I got, and she was the whole day at the event. She read my dogs to a T, from behavior and what they're doing, and so that was a surprise for her and me.
But I believe that, you know, I really have faith in the cards, and I know you do. And I think every time they're turned in faith, and you're thinking about the animal or the person, that you'll get your answer, and you did, you know. And I believe you can do that for an animal just with any deck of cards. And I'll sometimes rub the cards on the animal or let the animal touch them. And some are more intrigued by the cards than others, you know. Right. But and I do think, and don't you think, I'm sure you feel people are just so connected with their pets, that there's such a bond, you know, that the cards pick it up.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. What got you started doing that? The event that you were at?
The pets?
Pet reading.
Well, I used to be known, I'm called the tarot lady, the hat lady, gypsy lady, dog lady. I have many names. There's some of the better ones. But basically, I've always had a bond with animals since I was a very little girl. I used to teach my cat school, and I would hold the poor little cat's paw and write on my little Disney chalkboard. And I would teach her school, and she would sit there and listen to me. And I've seen animals heal and help. When my father was dying, actually, I'll tell you what did get me started. 10 years ago, my daddy passed away, and when he was sick, I made some recordings of him, and he told us all his wishes for us and advice for us. And me, he told me, be good look after all the little animals. They're so good, so mote they be. And after he died, my mother and I rescued a colony of cats from the cemetery woods. And there was just so much joy. While he was sick, the two cats I had given him were just such a comfort to him. And then after he died, I felt it was a sign from him when I saw a black cat looking out at me from the woods of the cemetery. And it brought such joy to my mother. It was like joy through the ashes, these animals coming, and that we rescued them and saved them at a time when we were mourning his death. And I've just seen the healing power of animals for people with post-traumatic stress disorder, for wounded veterans, for people going through depression. And I know what my animals, my dogs to me, and my cats, but especially my dogs, are therapeutic for me. When people come to my home for a reading, they're greeted by my dogs. And I'm here alone much of the time. The dogs will come in. Sometimes they'll sit by a person, one of them, or they'll just be very gentle with the person. And I feel like they sense things in the people that I read for and even give comfort to them. So I see such a great connection between humans and our animals, that there's a connection there.
Yeah. Well, you hear now and then on, the news, how somebody's buried, whether it's, maybe a vet or a police officer, and the dog's there at the coffin.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They know. And there's a lot of hospitals that have started allowing, or they even have a few that come in to be a comfort with anybody that might be on their deathbed, dying, going ready to die, and sit with them.
I've seen that, and there was a gray cat at a rest home that would go to she would know when someone was dying, and she would stay on their bed and would not leave. And my dog, Cajun, he stayed with my sister. She was sick. We didn't know what was wrong. And he would just go up to her bed. He would be with her. And she later had gallbladder surgery. He didn't want to leave her. They say they can smell cancer or be trained for that.
Right.
So I feel a great connection. You talk about witches and their familiars, that animals really have a lot to teach us. And anyone who, like us, is very sensitive, which tarot readers are. If you're going to be involved in helping people and the tarot, psychic readings, intuitive readings, you've got to have that sixth sense, and animals have that.
Right, they do. Now going on to, I know you said you have the dog deck, or when you're doing the pets, and the cat deck, or people. Do you have a favorite deck that you like to use?
I always don't like to say, but I love the Mystic Dreamer deck.
Yes, I have that one. Mm-hmm.
Do you like it?
I do, yes.
And I like the Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan.
I've seen that one, yes.
See, I'm holding it up. I actually have 3 decks of these. I pre-ordered it, accidentally ordered 2. Then I thought I'd lost one, reordered. So I must really like it, and people are drawn to that. And then the Deviant Moon Tarot was given to me by a client. She told me, she said, Jennifer, I have this tarot deck, and I don't really like it. I got it in Charleston, and I said, what is it? She said, it's the Deviant Moon. I said, oh, I've been wanting that. This was like 2 years ago. And she gave me the deck, and it's an awesome deck. And I, of course, Rider Waite. I still use Legacy of the Divine. Mm-hmm. I like. And I find with Legacy of the Divine, lots of entertainers and artists are drawn to Ciro Marchetti's Legacy of the Divine.
Do you know he retired?
No.
Yes, the announcement was made at the Reader's Studio in New York. He's had enough of doing the tarot.
Wow.
So they had a whole big goodbye for him.
Isn't his Lenormand deck coming out though in
Yes.
October?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But I really love his work because it's very theatrical, and people that are performers. And I sometimes say that I'm in the circus. As you know, I like to dress up in costumes and top hats. I love it.
Looking at your Facebook pictures.
Hey, I love the Steampunk Tarot by Barbara Moore. Steampunk. But, I like to say life is a cabaret, old chum, come to the cabaret. And I'm fascinated. I like to use lots of different decks. And I want to ask you, what is your favorite? Or do you have a favorite? Or does it vary from day to day?
For when I'm face to face, I usually bring 3 with me so that I can go back and forth, and it's basically which one I'm drawn to use. Or if I have them sitting there and the client comes and is attracted immediately to one, then that's the one we go with. Doing it from the phone, I always tend to use the Rider-Waite. They're the images people are more familiar with and will recognize if they're going to recognize them. So for that reason, it's the Rider-Waite. The Gendron deck, that deck I've been using more and more, and that deck, if I'm able to do a reading at all for my own self, I can only do it with that deck for whatever reason. So I thought that was interesting.
It is. And I'm not familiar with that deck.
Aren't you?
No, spell it for me.
Gendron. And it's the creator's last name. I forget offhand what first name is.
Well, I just wrote that down, and I'm just going to be honest with you. I thought I knew it all, but I don't, do I?
There you go. Something new every week here.
I did get the zombie tarot deck.
Did you get that one?
And I am just delving into that. And as you may know, I read a lot for bikers.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with the biker community by reading at their events here in Myrtle Beach, because they're such free spirits like us. They're misunderstood like us, like your tarot readers. Aren't you misunderstood, Misha, sometimes?
Oh, we're evil.
I know, thank you, and you're just such a doll.
So are you.
And you can say that laughing, but isn't it true? And sometimes it hurts. But, the bikers, same way. With the leathers, the tattoos, they're dark, they're, a biker. But, they're angels. And I'm not just talking about my neighbors, the Hells Angels. But, seriously, they've taught me so much about being a free spirit, about expressing yourself, and the tattoos, just like Chero Marchetti's Gilded Tarot has been talked about as a tarot-friendly deck. People will roll up their sleeve and say, look, I have that tattoo. If it's an angel or the lemniscent or certain symbols, people have it engraved, and then their cards come up, and it's similar to their tattoo. So I find that very interesting.
That is interesting.
I've even wanted to do like a biker tarot.
I was going to say, did you start incorporating tattoo readings in the tattoos in with the readings?
Well, do you have a lot of clients with tattoos, or do they ever show them, or?
Not often. No, I don't.
I think it's where I am. We have a lot of bikers and things, and it's like every day it's like, well, look at this. And, they're like, look at the butterfly. If I say Queen of Swords, you're a free spirit, they'll show me the tattoo. So it's quite interesting, the connection with it.
Yeah. And that they're into it. as much as they are.
Right.
I know I had done an event the first year I was there. There was a lot of firemen there because they were helping doing a fundraiser. And the
Ooh,
wives kept,
firemen, I love them.
right? And the wives and families were coming over, asking, checking out the prices and stuff. And I guess just a natural protective thing. All the firemen husbands came and got a reading first before going back and allowing the wives to come. I found that interesting.
That is interesting. That is very interesting to me.
Yeah. Yeah. All the firemen came over first because the wives were coming, peeking. They'd go back. They'd talk. Then the next thing I knew, a fireman was coming over, sitting there. Could you do a reading? Oh, okay. And then another one, and it went on all day. And then, when the husband would leave, then later on, one of the wives would come.
Yeah.
I thought that was I just thought, is that the protective thing in the firemen, firemen and police, and I don't know. But that was a very interesting observation.
And I found it interesting that with the bikers, I'll have some big burly biker guys in the biker clubs, and they'll come in for a reading. And one man, I'm holding up a key here because I was using Legacy of the Divine, and the Ten of Pentacles in his deck shows a treasure chest with 2 keys. And this was about the man having that security, that fulfillment, and it was about the keys. And at the end of his reading, he had on his chain a key that a friend had given him and told him, you hold the key to your future, to your happiness. And that was very meaningful to him. He chose that deck. Like you say, I do let my people choose their deck. I'll offer them several to look at, and I like them to look through them, and then they can choose their deck. And one thing you may find too is that I feel people through the movies, through lore, that they're afraid of the tarot. They're like, well, can I touch the cards? Is it okay? And what I try to tell them is, they're our friends. They want to be touched. They want to come out of the box. They want to get out of the silk wrapping, and they want to help you. They're all good. They're friendly. You can touch them. And, I try to express that to people.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny when you're set up, the different reactions.
Definitely.
People have. There could be, just 2 people, 3 people. One will have interest, start looking, wondering, and if there's one with your evil belief.
Oh, definitely. I love that.
Getting on them, and you can't do that. Get away, and
she's a witch.
Yeah. Mhm. Yes.
And I have all kinds of things, and I had a funny thing at the bike rally, and I was just talking to some friends, and a little girl came up and said, what is the tarot? And I said, well, it's cards of guidance. And her dad came up and said, I'm sorry, we're kind of Christian.
Kinda.
My 84-year-old mother says, well, what kind are you? But it's sort of like they don't understand that it is guidance. And I did understand. He meant well by it. And I have people walk by and look, and they'll be like, ooh, she's a white witch. Or, I'm scared of that. But I also, what I try to do is enlighten people one card at the time, and I feel you're the same. I think that you and I and the other readers, we are bringing it into the light and showing people one card at a time, one reading at a time, that it is guidance, that it is positive, that it is good. And that's what I feel my mission is. Don't you, in a way, feel that you're here to sort of dispel the myths and help people?
Yes, and make them aware of the cons and the scam artists and the tricks and things that they pull.
And that still goes on, and that is a sad thing. And that goes on right around me and probably around you. And it's always unfortunate that people, that's what they know of, you know. But I do take it as a journey, and that I do think it's come a long way. And like you were talking about Facebook and whether the media helps or not, and I think in a lot of ways it does enlighten people, and they can search more and find out more, and they have more choices too.
Right. Yeah, they can have easier access to look articles and things up and
Right.
research, because otherwise it would have been left to, take time out and go to the library. How many books are in libraries on it? Probably, not as much.
No, not many in my hometown. Probably two.
That's it, really. Now, what do you feel somebody starting out? Do you advise them to get books, or just to start connecting with the cards and work with the intuitive side?
Well, what I tell people is, if you really, really, want to be a reader or just wanting to learn for themselves,
Right.
I always advise get a deck. And I think in the way I began studying, I was just so probably like you, just obsessed with them, and it was like candy. It was like something I couldn't get enough of. But I tell people, do a card of the day for yourself. And definitely, I got all the books I could get, and I would read and I would study, and I still do, but I would mark things down and write things, and just all my spare time I was reading in the car, reading because I had a thirst for it. But I do think reading, studying, definitely, because as well as I do the 78 cards. Goodness, we still don't know. We'll never know. We'll never master it. No one can. We can be a tarot master, but there's always something more, isn't it?
There is. There is. It's a forever process. And there's so much that you can add to it. Astrology, the Kabbalah, numerology. And that's only 3. There's plenty more. People that know color meanings and things.
Right.
Use maybe the most prominent color that appeared in the spread. There's so much out there that can get incorporated.
And I learned from from everybody I know, will get a different perception from a card. Even the people I read for will say something profound. They'll look at the card and say something or feel something I've never seen before. Even I've had children be in the room or be around and say something about a card, and it was like, wow. Because they're innocent, they're just looking at the card, they're saying what they say. My husband, he is like Mr. Normal. My friends say, what's your husband like? And I'm like, well, they think he's going to be a Johnny Depp, and they're like, wow, he's normal. And I'm like, yeah, but he can look at the card sometimes, and what he says is like so right on and so just clear that it amazes me. And I'm like, how can you do that? You don't know anything about the cards, but yet you can look at them and give me this meaning that is just perfect.
Right. Because he's intuitive.
And I think what I love about the cards is they're always new to me. They never get boring to me. They never get old. It never gets the same. Does it to you?
Never. Never.
You understand what I'm saying? It's like every time I read for someone, I get butterflies.
Do you? Yeah.
I get nervous and I want to do a good job, but it's always exciting. My eyes light up. When I read for somebody, it's not like, oh, another reading. It's like, oh, a reading. I have people and I'm energized by them. And, it's like it truly is a spiritual connection. It's a moment in time that you connect with somebody that is sacred and spiritual. And it's something they'll remember, I remember, and you're bonded. You have a connection with that person forever. If you see them again, if you never see them again, they will remember the reading.
Yes, they will. If anybody has any questions that they want to, throw out into the chat room, feel free and do so. I'm sure Jennifer would love to hear from you.
Oh, I would.
Do you have specific things, I'm sure that you do, like we all do, that you will not read on?
Health matters. I like with the cups, of course, if 10 of cups or ace of cups, I feel like that's like quenching your thirst. That's a refill you need. I may say that can indicate improved health, but mostly my readings are about emotions and relationships, career things. That is my main thing, not health.
Right. We have some new arrivals that have entered, so I want to welcome them. So some of the questions may be repetitive, and this is why. We have a question in the chat room, and they are wondering what your favorite deck is. We touched on which deck you use for reading, when doing the pet readings and things. Do you have one that is a favorite?
The Mystic Dreamer and the Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan. Because I'm a Gemini, I have two. I can never have one. I do have just one husband,
though. Do you find that... Okay, I was going to ask that one, actually, reading my mind. Speaking of different type decks, I had it on my last show and tell show that I did. For those shows, I just bring on decks or books and go over them. And one of them was the transparent deck. Jennifer puts that out.
I don't have that, but I want it. It's on my wish list.
Yeah, I picked that up last year at the Reader's Studio. It's very interesting. Very neat to work with. They're clear. Those that don't have up in the other room, I don't have it with me. They're clear cards. And drawings are like pencil stick figure drawings in different spots on the card. And you're able to read them individually or lay them on top of one another, and you will see through them.
Yeah.
And it creates a whole different scene than if they're laying individually side by side.
Well, how do you like those? Do you use them a lot, or?
I don't. I have not. People like the bright colored picture decks. Even if it's a deck they've never seen before, they're drawn to that rather than the clear things. It tends to, they're interested, but before reading.
Yeah. I have several decks that I use for myself, or I study with them and they help me, but not so much for reading for people, or it would depend. Like I have the Dark Tarot by Louis Royo. I'm a country girl, so I may not pronounce things right. I have the Vampire Tarot, and I have some people that are drawn to that. I like that, but then I have some that are not. So I sort of go by people, I'll say, well, how do you like this? Or certain people will like the Gothic Tarot.
Right.
But then others, I don't even tell them. With the Witch's Tarot, I just say, this is a beautiful deck that I like. And they'll, yes, it's beautiful. I love it. But if I told them the name, see, they may not go
Right.
for that.
Exactly. Somebody, I don't know their name. They're using the automated screen name given to them in the chat room, and I imagine they're speaking of you. And they made a comment that they cannot believe this, but they saw you at Jam and Leather.
Woo!
And so I don't know if they want to type in their
Jam
name.
and Leather. Yeah.
They changed their name. I don't know who it is. So they're just saying, you know, what secret synchronicity. They're in Myrtle Beach.
Wow, that's awesome. Are they in Myrtle Beach?
Yeah, I think they are from what they wrote.
Well, that is wonderful, and I love Jamie at Jam and Leather. I consider him to be my brother. And, you know, Misha, as I said before, I've just turned into a biker chick or gypsy biker because the bikers have just changed my life, and they've changed my life for good because they have really taught me so much about being a free spirit, and they're so good, and they've just enriched my life. As a matter of fact, before my readings now, I ring I ring a bell, and it's a biker bell. They have an angel bell. There's a story that someone will give a biker a bell to put on their bike, and it protects them from the road demons. And I always ring a bell before my readings, and through the bikers I learned that, so I use a biker bell. And they've just taught me so much about being a free spirit and being a butterfly and light and generosity, that I'm really happy that someone's tuned in that knows me from Jam and Leather.
Her name is Michelle, and yes, she lives there.
That's fabulous.
And they're also saying that they love your accents as well.
Oh, thank you. It's real Southern.
Before we run out of time, because I knew this was going to happen when you and I got going, I would run up before we knew it. And that's happening. We have a few moments left, so I want to get everybody aware of how they can get a hold of you. On case for the newbies that didn't hear in the beginning, how to find you on Facebook as Jennifer Tarot Johnson. And if they want to get a hold of you and find your website, do you want to give them that information, Jennifer?
Yeah, that's tarotbyjennifer.com. And yes, Facebook, Jennifer Tarot Johnson. Or just Google Jennifer Tarot Johnson or Tarot by Jennifer, and you'll see me at the Beaver Bar at Bike Week, at Suck Bang Blow, that's a biker bar. But I'll also be at the Flip Flop Ball in Myrtle Beach and the Mercy Hospice Mischief Night. And I love doing events, Misha, like you do. I love to be out around people. You know, I can't get enough people and their pets.
Right, yes. And for those that are new to the show, I want to throw out a welcome. I'm here every Wednesday night at 9. You can find the show. It's the cards on Facebook, and keep updated with the shows each week. And if you'd like to get a hold of me, I'm Tarot by Misha on Facebook, and my website is Tarot by Misha at AOL.com is the email, and tarotbymisha.com is my website, and Misha is Misha. Yeah, we gotta wrap things up.
I don't want to.
I'll have to have you back on and get the phone lines open and get some readings going too the next time.
I love your new do. You're looking hot. I love hair.
I'm loving your band thing and wishing I should have put one of my hats on tonight. We could have both done. Next time we will do that. Well, it was a pleasure having you on.
Me
Thank
too.
you
I
so
loved it. Okay, peace out.
much. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Have a safe and wonderful week, and stick around for the show that will be following me in about 9 minutes or so. Till next week, have a fantastic, enjoyable week. Thanks again, Jennifer. Good night.
Night. I stopped dancing and the magician disappeared, and so I fell in love with the tarot cards. As I say, I had a tower moment, and my life changed from being a dancer and dance teacher. And I took up the cards. I put away my dance shoes, picked up the cards, and I've been dancing with the tarot ever since.
Well, that's an extreme from one thing to another. You never miss the dancing where you wish you would have kept a dance studio and done, both readings and the dance.
I did miss it, but I found my true calling with the cards, and it's enriched my life even more than the dance did. And I do say, think about it. There's a song, Life's a Dance, and life is a dance, isn't it? And I find as I get older and I grow, we change partners. The music changes. We may be dancing the disco, then we're going into a waltz, then it's a two-step, a foxtrot. We've got to keep moving, we've got to keep dancing, we've got to keep growing. And the cards sort of came and literally saved my life. I went through domestic violence with the magician, and the cards picked me up and saved me, and they save me every day.
They do, and you never know what they're going to bring to light.
That's right, and I find all the people that I work with, and I'm sure you do too, Misha, and I read your post, and I love your, what I love about you is you keep it real. You're a real person, and I like that, and we've talked before, but your posts make me laugh and smile, and you bring a reality to it. And life is real, and hey, we're all going to have our ups and downs. It's like new couples and people. I wish I could tell everybody, hey, you've got the white picket fence, it's all going to be great, it's a fairy tale. But that's not the way it is, and what we have to do is find a strength to carry on, to evolve. If we don't evolve, we'll evaporate. Usher said that.
Yes. And, it's strange what you pointed out about, Facebook posts and the jokes and things and keeping it real. People are either for that or completely against it. I'm sure you've noticed the same thing. And, I've been told by, more than one people over the years, you need to just keep it tarot related and love and butterflies and rainbow. Why? That's not reality. That's not how life is. And people need to sit. So many people, clients or non-clients, think because we do what we do that we got it easy. We have no problems because we can just psychically look into it or pull the cards and get it all figured out. And they think, it's a breeze. And somehow we're on a higher scale than they are in regards, to life and issues. And we're not. A lot of cases we end up going through a lot more heavy duty things because I think we need to experience it so that when we get the clients, we understand where they're coming from and their feelings and mean it.
I agree with you 110%. And I tell them, hey, I've been there. I know what you're feeling or similar things. divorce, domestic violence, struggling financially, depression. Um, but the cards, I try, as you know, on my page, I joke and I say it's my diary. And a friend of mine's like, Jennifer, I'm like, remember the old fashioned diaries that had a key? And she said, well, you would lose the key. Well, I wear keys most every day because, they've said the tarot are the 78 keys of wisdom, the keys of knowledge. And aren't we all trying to open doors and shut doors and lock doors and throw away the key? It's knowing when to hold them, know when to fold them. Know when to walk away, know when to run, know which doors to lock, and know which doors we need to kick down. So I feel like with my querents that we're all in this together and we're all dealing with issues, our demons, I've heard it said on Facebook, find demons that play well with yours, and we're all struggling. We've all got bruises. We've all got, and I'm like you. I love that you put it out there and you're a real person. And I think it's important for people to know when they come to a reader, the old way was, the reader knew all, saw all, and told you what's going to happen. And I want people to understand, hey, we can make things happen. We can bring things into our lives. And, you and I have no more power than they do. We can help guide them, but we want to help them have.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to What's in the Cards. Hope you had a fabulous week. And it's cooled off a bit here, so hope the weather is pretty good where you're at. Cloudy, rain for the rest of the week expected, but the heat went away, so that's a good thing. I have a wonderful guest for you this evening. And we're going to be talking all about the tarot tonight with her. I want to give you a little introduction to you so you know a little bit about her before I bring her on. She taught dance for many years in North Carolina. She was a choreographer and a dance studio owner. And I guess that explains why when she describes readings and the cards, she has her own unique explanation for them, and she calls the cards dancing, which I love. And she's been doing tarot for the past 21 years, and she also reads for people's pets, so we're going to talk about that as well and what she does with that. Her name is Jennifer. She is known on Facebook as Jennifer Tarot Johnson. I want to bring Jennifer on. Jen, welcome.
Well, hey, Misha, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine down here in South Carolina on the swamps of Sockasty.
How's the weather?
It's very humidity, as you can tell by my hair.
And I love the little decor that you have going there.
Yeah, I gotta have a do-rag down here in the South.
Protects the hair that way too from going all over the place, right? Suits lots of
Right.
purposes. So, you started dancing for years. When did you get interested in into the tarot?
Well, I actually was a magician assistant. And yes, and we did mental telepathy, and that's where I came in contact with the tarot. And